Curiouser and curiouser. The plot thickens, so we should open the envelopes and see what's inside. Hi Internet, it's Lee, and thank you for joining us back for what is something that actually kind of scared the pants off me, and I'll explain why in a second. So, for those of you who haven't seen the first video, which we posted probably earlier this week, we got a package from a new company called Smug Savant, who very kindly sent us a mystery package mailing box, hence the Sherlock Holmes kind of outfit. So basically the way this works is you sign up for them, for their plans, and there's 2 of them, and there'll be details in the links below, where you can send a mystery to somebody, and basically what it does is it, over several months, sends them mailings and reveals the outcome to the mystery. The first video, which again there'll be a link, I think about there, or maybe there, it's in one of the corners anyway. We received a blueprint kind of thing, a very old looking blueprint, and a couple of letters, one of which was hidden very strategically at the back of the picture frame. Well, I went to pick some mail up today because we got another package in the mail, and the guy who I picked my mail up from said, "Oh, you have 2 letters," and I was like, that seems a little strange. One of them was, and I can show you the address because you can send me stuff here if you like, send me letters or drawings or stuff for us to taste test, because it is my PO box. Again, that's in the link below. We have just a plain black envelope with a stamp. And then the other package that came scared me a tad because of the return address. And on the back of it, hopefully this shows up, and if not, I have a close-up filmed already. A very official looking embossed seal. I believe, and at least that's why I'm dressed like this, that this is the second mailing of the Smug Savant. So let's go ahead and we'll open the legal document first, and we'll have, oh my gosh, this is like a 2-page document. This is from Schaefer Brothers Attorney at Law in Illinois. Dearly Braithwaite, I represent Magdalena Zog. Zog? I'm not sure, I'm going to say Zog because I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. I represent Magdalena Zog, declared deceased as of 4 weeks ago after 6 months as a missing person. Miss Zog was owner and manager of Ravick & Zog Medical Supplies operating out of Adeline, Michigan until her disappearance. Her most recent testament names you as executor of her will. I wish I had recourse to ease your confusion of the situation, but I feel the same confusion. You share the same last name with the family that housed her uncle when they first moved to Adeline. Perhaps some ancestry research online mistakenly stated you as a descendant of that family. Beyond that, I'm not sure what led Miss Zog to declare you as executor of the will. Regardless, until papers have been drawn and finalized, a number of pivotal decisions of Ravick & Zog Medical Supply need your approval. First of these is the issue of the funeral, not Miss Zog's, but the funeral of the father of the mayor of Adeline, one deceased James Pewterschmidt. Mayor Pewterschmidt's father died in Colorado a few weeks ago in a plane crash, and a ceremony in his remembrance will be held out of town. Mayor Pewterschmidt has requested that R&Z release a number of families for work duty to pay to represent the city at this ceremony. Please look through the following list and choose 3 or 4 families to attend. You may send your choice at, and then there's an email account, within the following 10 days, or else I will allow the current management at R&Z to choose instead. More information concerning R&Z will be forthcoming over the following weeks. However, feel free to peruse their website if you would like more information in the meantime. Additionally, prior to his passing, James Pewterschmidt wanted to repay a kindness done to him by one of the families of Adeline in the form of a $15,000 gift. Due to the anonymous nature of the favor, James did not know the identity of the family but promised a bonus to whoever of his assistants, Ava and Mitch, could discover the Good Samaritan. Through some interviews, Ava was able to determine the profession of the family from the list of R&Z job titles. janitor, operator, engineer, lab technician, and mechanic. And Mitch discovered the size of their household. Neither would share their information with the other for fear of claiming their bonus. Not the most admirable attitudes, but not surprisingly, of those attempting to climb the corporate ladder. As executor of will, you will act in Miss Zog's place and distribute this $15,000 to one of the R&Z families. Sadly, Mitch passed away alongside James Pewterschmidt in the Colorado plane crash, but Ava relates the following story concerning their discussion of the Good Samaritan. Mitch and I met in his office and discussed the bonus. It had become a competition between the two of us, and neither wanted to offer the other any information. We looked over the list of Adeline families, the same list I provided below, each of us having one part of the solution, but both admitting that we didn't have the answer. Then Mitch began pondering something and started scratching names off the list, and I realized he was using the fact that I didn't know the answer to eliminate families. I did the same thing. We both admitted that we didn't know the answer. We both began scratching names off our list a second time, but were still unable to figure out the Good Samaritan. However, Mitch and Ava immediately after the meeting wrote an email to James saying he'd deduced who had been the Good Samaritan and would inform him of their identity during their next meeting. With Mitch's death, the family may never be known. I'm not sure how Mitch had determined which family the Good Samaritan was from, speaking with Ava, but I wish there was some means of ensuring the correct family received the gift. Please list the 3 families who will be attending Remembrance and which family will be receiving the $15,000 gift in your response to, and then the email address again. Eligible Adeline families, number of members in household, profession and seniority. And then there's a whole list that you can see on screen. I'm not going to read all those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 names. And then the letter signed Sincerely William Cavendish. So this is the difference to a lot of the other mystery packages. The fact that you actually take part and have to send things back in order to get the puzzle progressing. Kind of interesting so far. I'm really interested. I'm going to have to see if we can work out which one of these folk is eligible for the $15,000 gifts. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to tell you which one I did until the next video. However, if you have any ideas, pause it on that. Pause the frame now. Alright, hopefully you've stopped the pause button, but you've got the information there. If you think you know who we should send, the 3 families that the Geek Nuggets should send to that particular funeral, remembrance service, or if you think you have some kind of idea who the $15,000 is for, put it in the comment section below. I'm going to wait sending this for a couple of days after I post this video. I'm going to try and get it out as soon as I can, so you guys can put comments in the sections, and then I can kind of look at your advice and we'll go from there. We'll do it as a Geek Nugget family. The other thing is this black envelope, so I'm hoping there's some more clues in here. So let's take a look, shall we? Oh! Alright, so in this envelope, there's 2 pieces of paper. Oh my lord. One is a newspaper article, and the other thing that's in here is an old, oh my lord, an old map. And again, we'll put a nice big close-up over this. So I'm not going to hold it up too long. While I'm talking, we'll put a close-up. It looks like a map. It's the Adeline Reverend Tabernacle 6th Annual Scavenger Hunt map. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. And then there's some things on the back, which is incredibly faint. But it looks, and I'm not going to read all this because it really is very, very faint. So I'm going to have to get my glasses from work, or have Kristen read this to me because my eyesight is not great. It looks like kind of the history of the scavenger hunt from the little bit that I can glean off this off the top of my head. And again, I'm going to have a close-up of this. I'll scan it in and we'll have a close-up so you can read this through while I'm talking. Yeah, it looks like all the information about the actual scavenger hunt. Okay, so we're going to have to look at this together. So again, you're going to have to pause your video, rewind it a little bit and pause the video and see what that says. But that's nice and old looking. And then the other document here, I'll show you a close-up of the back of it first. This says Remembering Magdalena. And there's pictures of in the back showing her in high school, showing her using her skills to become a detailed surgeon. Let's see what else. Talking about the company themselves, R&Z Development, R&Z Medical Supply. It shows the school that she studied in, medicine in back in 1976. And then showing, after about the death of her uncle, how she took over the operation of the medical supply company. Again, we'll do a close-up of this article. And I'll just quickly read through this. I say quickly, it's quite a lot, but we'll go through it real fast. We at the Adeline Herald would like to dedicate this special edition to Magdalena Zog and all those who've been affected by her death. Over 6 months ago, Adeline's foremost citizen, Magdalena Zog, disappeared under inexplicable circumstances. Her car was found abandoned on Hephaestus, I could be pronouncing that wrong, road, undamaged but out of gas. Stranger than this was the most decayed body found in her trunk. Ooh. Forensic experts say the unidentified body had been dead for over 6 months at the time of its discovery. Magdalena's home was searched, but nothing was amiss. She'd not planned to leave, or at least had not packed in preparation. Her suitcases were present, all her clothes accounted for, and no withdrawals from her bank account. Some say that Miss Zog knew that someone was out to get her. On the day before her disappearance, Miss Zog filed a new will with Schaefer Brothers law firm. The primary change in this will be changed to her executor from her niece, Magdalena Zog, to an undisclosed person, i.e. me, from outside of Adeline. When asked for the reason for this change, Adeline Sheriff said, "We aren't sure why the change." Natalie went on record saying she hadn't heard from her aunt in years. The new executor shares the last name with a Zog family friend from the 1940s, but our research hasn't pointed to a person being related to the family. Adeline Sheriff Ladeur said Magdalena Zog had left a package addressed to the new executor sitting on her kitchen table. It looks like she was going to mail it out the next day. The contents of this package have not been disclosed to the public. I'm guessing that might be the package we got last time, unless there's more to come. There are a number of theories about what happened to Magdalena. Some say Magdalena was a serial killer and that her disappearance is evidence of how close she was to being caught. How else did it make sense to have the body in a trunk? Magdalena wasn't the only disappearance that week, and some point to the Stephanie Newkirk disappearance as evidence. Others say Magdalena was murdered by the true killer and that the body of her in her trunk was an attempt to frame her. A few think that the whole plot is a government setup to discredit R&Z Medical Supplies, that by removing the owner, the government plans to take over the business without having to buy them out. As always, there are those who whisper that the old wife's tale about the woodsman, that he drug her, kicking and screaming out of her home into the forest. After all this time, it looks like the people of Adeline will never know for sure. As of last week, after 6 months of a missing person, Magdalena Zog has officially been declared dead. Her niece has taken over management of Ravik and Zog Medical Supplies until the new one has been enacted. Regardless of what has happened, it is time to move on. So as you read this, whoever you are, raise your glass to Adelena's favourite citizen, Magdalena. You will be missed. Wow! Plot thickens, like I said at the beginning of this video. I think this is a great package. Like I said, there's two different ones. There's a really, really personalised one that's a little bit expensive, but probably totally worth it. This is the slightly cheaper package. And based on the first couple of mailings that I've got, really quite interesting and quite exciting. This really does get me my juices flowing because I love this kind of stuff. I've always been a mystery fan. I've always been a Sherlock Holmes, Indiana Jones kind of fan. And to be taking part in it as one of the characters for me is wonderful. So for somebody who doesn't know that this is a setup kind of thing, oh my gosh, this would be terrific. Seriously, a great Christmas gift, birthday gift, something like that. And it's the gift that keeps on giving because it is over several months. So that's it. That's the second mailing from the Smug Savant. Like I said, I'm really digging this. I hope you are too. I hope we're going to solve this together. But in the meantime, as I say, if you've any thoughts, any suggestions, put it in the comment section below. Also, give us a big thumbs up if you made it through this video. I know it's a lot of reading, and I know I kind of screwed up a little bit, and I apologize, so go ahead and yell at me in the comments. People always do. But again, I forgot my glasses because I wasn't expecting this. Also, please subscribe. We do appreciate that. And to subscribe to our other social media, the links are all around the screen on the QR code right now that you just zap with your phone, and it will take you right to that website. So that's it for this package, like I said. We will be back with the next one hopefully very soon. And until then, take care, Internet, and adios, Geek Nuggets.